Welcome back. It's the start of a brand new month and we have such big gains under our belt, right? Nifty has seen the third straight month in a row where there have been big gains and the SGX Nifty is once again a hue of green this morning. So let's see which way it goes. For now, our entire team is joining us to tell us about all the stocks that you need to watch out for as we head into trade today. Hi guys, good morning. Anuj, let me start with you. What are you looking at today?
Sonia, I don't want to steal Kritika and Reema's thunder, but I want to just make an editorial on Bharti Airtel, which for me, I think could be the stock to watch from here on. For starters, it's absorbed 6,000 crores of selling without the stock breaking the 200-day moving average. Any other stock, it would have been down about 10%. And the AGR ruling today will take away the last remaining overhang on the stock. From the high of 610, it's fallen to 513. And one reason for that is that the market is now pricing in additional damage on the AGR front, whether it has to pay for ASL and Videocon. So that's, I think, a big positive. I think the key thing that I'll watch out for is once the AGR ruling comes, if Bharti comes out and says that, we are not availing this 12-year or 15-year, whatever comes, we are paying upfront. I think if they announce that, something like that. So from the risk-reward point of view, 200-day moving average, I think that's something that I'll keep an eye on. But of course, we have other important things to discuss on Bharti and on telecom sector.
Yeah, Kritika is there. Kritika, tell us the merger, the tower news is finally out.
Well, finally, there have been 6 extensions, Lata. It started with waiting for the DOT approval and then they were waiting for clarity on AGR case. But, we don't know what they're reading into the AGR verdict, but they have now finally decided to go ahead with it. Now, the merged company shareholding is very important and it's in line with what we were expecting. So effectively, Airtel will end up holding about 36.7%, Vodafone UK about 28.2%, Providence 3.2%, balance 31.6% of by public shareholders of Infratel and Indus. Now, effectively, Vodafone Idea will get a cash consideration of about 4,000 crore rupees for its 11.5% stake that it held in Indus. Now, to secure this, they will enter into security arrangements with Infratel. So both Vodafone Idea and Vodafone PLC, and this will also guarantee 1-year payment, operational payments by Vodafone Idea Limited to the merged company. What does this mean for Airtel? So Vodafone Idea getting about 4,000 crore rupees, the higher end of what market was expecting. Airtel's 36.7%. The valuation, Lata, Anuj, Sonia, has been speculated for a long time, but the lowest according to analysts is 25,000 crore rupees. So a big deleveraging lever for Airtel as well.
Okay, Kritika, thanks a lot for that. We'll watch out for Bharti Infratel today. But let's go ahead and talk about the banks. Lata, RBI has stepped in to cool yields. So how do you see that impact the banks today?
Very substantial. I mean, they're going to allow banks to buy more bonds and they don't have to worry about mark-to-market. Plus this operation twist, buying up longer-term bonds for which there's no appetite. Again, that will mean the 10-year should cool. And they're also going to do some repo. This last bit, I'm a little unsure how it will play. It might actually take out some liquidity. That is some old money which banks had borrowed on TLTRO. Targeted LTRO can be returned and you can borrow cheaper money. It's quite possible that people will just return the money and not borrow again because there's no need for new money to be borrowed. So that may take away some liquidity. I don't know, the details haven't come out. But overall today, I mean, Bhaskar Panda says 605 to 6.1. I would think it will go even below 6 because the steps are pretty positive.
Okay, steps are pretty positive. So let's keep an eye on some of these stocks. Canara Bank is out of FNO ban as well, so perhaps we could be watching out for some of these names. But Sonal, important news on Biocon in terms of their insulin.
Absolutely, Anuj. They have now launched insulin glargine in the US. Remember, they had received the approval from the US FDA back in June. Company says the pricing is at a 65% discount to the listing price and it will be available in 2 forms. They also say this is the lowest cost for any long-standing insulin glargine in the US markets. Also remember, the management had told us that this caters to a market size of around $7 to $8 billion. So this launch and the market share going ahead will be very important for the company.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Well, L&T is the other stock that we are looking at this morning. Agam is joining in to tell us why he's watching L&T today. Hi, Agam. Morning.
Good morning, Sonia. Well, we are watching L&T because it's completed its divestment in its electricals and automations business, and it has sold this business to Schneider Electric for an all-cash deal of around 14,000 crores. Do remember that the definitive agreement for this particular deal was signed back in May of 2018, and this is a completion of that deal. Why was this taken place? Well, the company wanted to focus on its core business of construction, EPC, as well as big products and heavy engineering, and of course to also alleviate a little bit of pain when it comes to its debt. We're perhaps expecting some green on L&T on the back of this news.
Okay, and Mangalam, the Maharashtra unlock is a little better for hotels finally?
That's right. It's good news for all those looking to go for a staycation or so and weren't able to secure a room. And that's primarily because now the latest circular that has come by Maharashtra government has allowed the hotels to operate at 100% occupancy as against 30% earlier. This comes into effect from September 30th, for which a separate circular for SOP would be issued. So we will keep an eye out on what those details are out there. The important part is now, will the street start to factor in other states opening hotels up at 100% or not as well is the big question. A large part of the move in the hotel stocks took place in last month, where we saw a 35% move come by in Indian hotels and EIA. It's so important to know from that standpoint where the stocks will move today as well. My sense, see a big bar of green.
You know, I'll tell you something. I have taken 2 staycations of one day each in the previous 2 months in terms of weekend. I did it because it was 30%, because I know that there is enough distancing, and after I leave the room for 3 days nobody will be allowed to enter, and before I enter for 3 days nobody would have entered. I don't know if this 100% is there, whether I'll have the same courage. So I mean, I would take this as a mixed view. I mean, let's see how it works.
Which is what makes the SOP most important, so that is something we'll watch out for.
Okay, sure.
Okay, well, I can't wait to take a holiday. And I'm going to perhaps follow your footsteps. And
I didn't take a holiday, I went on a holiday.
Muster up the courage, all right. Well, Agam joins in to tell us about the beneficiaries of the defense order. The government has signed, I think, 2,600 crore pact for rocket systems. Agam, which are the companies that could benefit?
That is correct, Sonia. Tata Power, L&T and BEML will be in focus on the back of this particular pact. The rocket systems, that is the supply of the rocket system launchers to 6 Pinaka regiments, and the contract has been awarded to BEML, Tata Power and L&T. And this is where BEML will provide 330 vehicles. The contract here is for about 840 crores, and the balance 1,840 odd crores is towards Tata Power and L&T, where they will manufacture 114 rocket launchers.
Okay, Agam, thanks a lot for that. That's some stocks to keep an eye on. Sonal, you're tracking some more results?
Absolutely, Anuj. Let me start with GNFC, where the numbers were very weak. Revenues were down 42%. Company reported an EBITDA loss and only a profit because there was higher other income. But these are backdated numbers. TDI prices have now increased. So let's see what happens going forward. But the numbers were weak this time around. JK Cement, well, it was a weak set. If we compared it to expectations, the realizations were lower. Sales volumes were down 19%, revenues down 28%, and margins also lower than expectations at 21.2%. Bharti Dynamics also weak set of numbers. Revenues were down 94% on a YY basis. Company reported an EBITDA loss versus EBITDA of 111 crores last year. Expect that stock to be in the red today.
All right, some more stocks that we're watching this morning. Nigel has that list for us. Nigel, go ahead.
Well, we're looking at JSPL first up, because CRISIL has gone ahead and changed the rating that they had on the company's bank borrowings as well as NCDs. Now, earlier they had a negative rating out there. Now that's been changed to stable. So maybe, in fact, the stock has seen an earlier correction of around 18% from the recent peak. Let's see whether or not we can see some green out there. V-Guard, they've gone ahead. In fact, they have started commercial production of ceiling fans. So that could be another stock, more revenue coming in from them. And finally, MOIL, they had cut their prices just last month. Now they've gone ahead and increased prices by nearly around 10% across grades. So keep an eye on that stock, should open up in the green. Back to you.
Okay, thanks for that. Well, now for the most important set of stocks that we will watch out for. Rima, the AGR final verdict will be out today. What are the numbers we should keep in mind?
Yes, finally, Lata. It's been, the first Supreme Court order had come in October of 2019. So we've been waiting for the last 10 months. The judgment will be at 11:30. There are 2 key issues. One, how much time will be given to incumbent players like Bharti Airtel as well as Vodafone Idea to clear their AGR dues. Remember, they're saddled with dues of 58,000 crore rupees for Vodafone Idea and 44,000 crore rupees for Bharti. And while they have made part payment, there is still a lot which needs to be paid. So 50,000 crore is the balance amount for Vodafone Idea, while for Bharti it's close to 26,000 crore rupees. And secondly, who will pay for the dues of bankrupt companies like an Airtel, a Videocon, as well as an Aircel? Will Reliance Jio have to pay for Arcom's 25,000 crore rupees of dues? Will Airtel have to pay part of the liabilities of Videocon as well as Aircel? That remains to be seen, because if that's the case, that will be an incremental overhang or a payout for the telecom companies. But you know what's important now is also that this AGR overhang is lifted, because once it's out of the way, the telecom companies can go ahead and monetize their stake. A Vodafone Idea can look at raising some external money. But more importantly, companies can go ahead and do a price hike, which has been in the offing. And remember, any price hike, even 60 to 70% of the incremental money that a price hike brings in directly flows into the EBITDA. So it's much needed now. So I think from a stock point of view, this AGR being lifted, the overhang being out of the way, will be positive for telcos, because now the street will look ahead to future price increases.
Okay, thanks a lot, Reema, for that. We won't have to wait too long. 11:30 is when the judgment comes out. But let's go straight across to our commodities editor, Manisha Gupta, to find out what's happening in the world of commodities. Hi, Manisha, what's buzzing there?
Well, almost everything, because we're looking at the private survey showing that the Chinese manufacturing activity expanded at the fastest pace in nearly a decade. So 53.1 of a number is what we are working with. And then you have the dollar index, which slid below 92 yesterday, holding around those 92 levels right now. But the weak US dollar, strong China data has led to commodities trading higher. So Brent crude, after posting 5 monthly gains, has started September on nearly a percentage point higher in Asia right now. The metal prices also have started positive. So when you look at copper, we saw 2-year highs yesterday. It's holding around those levels in Shanghai right now. And the nickel prices are at a fresh 9-month highs. So weakness in US dollar really is supportive. So everything in commodities is trading in the positive.
Okay. On that positive note, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We will have Deepan Mehta joining us as well. We will have Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, the executive chairperson of Biocon, to talk about the launch of their insulin glargine drug in the US.